Stop. One breath. What if the people who dislike you are the most valuable asset you're ignoring? Not your mentors, not your cheerleaders, your enemies. The rival who undercuts your ideas. The coworker who smiles in daylight and scratches at night. The ex who wants your name small. Here's the dangerous truth. Trying to live enemy-free makes you fragile. Learning to use enemies makes you powerful. Today we start a system that turns hostility into leverage, without becoming a monster, without losing your soul. Before we move, drop this in the comments to lock it in. I will convert opposition into advantage. Let's frame it clearly. An enemy is anyone whose incentives are against yours. Not always evil, often just misaligned. That misalignment is gold if you know what to do with it. Enemies give you signal, what hurts them reveals what matters. Civ, who stands with you when pressure rises. School, they teach you your blind spots for free. And shield, their noise distracts the field while you move. Machiavelli's paradox is simple. Don't worship foes, don't delete them, use them. You don't choose every opponent, but you choose the terms under which they must operate. When you're only lion, loud, blunt, forceful, you roar into traps set by smaller men. When you're only fox, clever, subtle, you see every snare and still get eaten. Use both. Fox to map motives, channels, and timing, lion to set rules with visible consequences. Enemies become useful the moment you stop reacting and start orchestrating. How to start? Build a simple enemy map in 3 columns: motive, method, mistake. Motive: what do they want that collides with your aim? Status, budget, access to a person, reputation, real estate? Method: how do they attack? Whisper network, public jabs cloaked as jokes, fake urgency, quiet sabotage, flattery that asks for a discount? Mistake: where are they sloppy? Patterns repeat under pressure. Lateness, vague asks, overconfidence, lack of receipts, poor timing. The mistake is the lever you'll use to make them pay the toll for touching your lane. Now you install the utility protocol, 3 moves that convert opponent energy into your progress. Move 1. Instrument the enemy. This is intelligence. You do not rant, you record. After meetings, send the boring summary, decisions, owners, dates. Paper is a weapon. Gossip is fog. Every time an enemy pressures you, they teach you what they're afraid of. Every time they refuse paper, you learn where your receipts will cut them later. Enemies are loud with opinions and lazy with documentation. Let them be. Your archive is your bulletproof glass. Move 2. Funnel the fight. You pick one arena where conflict is allowed. The agenda, the deadline, the scope doc. Everything else is off limits. Public jabs? Moral theatrics? Side channel chaos? You're not avoiding conflict, you're containerizing it, forcing your rival to play where you're strong. Fox, remove oxygen from their favorite alley. Lion, enforce the venue with boring certainty. Move 3. Price the opposition. People test what is free. You make touching you expensive. Not with screaming, with structure. Interruptions? You pause, reclaim your sentence, finish. Chronic last-minute asks? The next slot is weekday coffee, not Saturday prime, or a deposit is required. Scope creep in negotiations? Rate stays, scope shrinks. Your enemy just became an unpaid fundraiser for your standards. Every time they test, they finance the policy that stops them next round. Let's put this to work in rooms you actually live in. Work. There's a colleague who undermines you in front of leadership. Old you defends your heart. New you enforces the venue. Then, silence. When they try side channels to twist the story, you don't chase. If they jab, at least this time he didn't overcomplicate it, you meet the room, not the jab. 5 beats of quiet. Back to agenda. You didn't trade insults, you made the room pay attention to work. Fox mapped the trap, Lion set the fence. Negotiation. A competitor whispers you're difficult, hoping to push a discount. Old you promises to be flexible. New you uses the whisper as proof your price is right. We maintain rate. If they threaten to walk, you don't flinch. Enemies who broadcast your spine create the niche you'll dominate. Clients who want outcomes, not bargains. Social. The ex-friend who resents your momentum tries to bait you into drama. Old you texts essays. New you vanishes from the theater and becomes boring in public. Gym, work, dinners with people who actually like you. Boring is lethal to smear. There's nothing to grip. When mutuals ask what happened, you use 9 words. We weren't a fit. Enemy energy falls to the floor. Your calm becomes their contrast. Romance. A rival wants access to someone you're dating and subtly undermines you. Old you competes for attention. New you sets pace and keeps promises, then lets results do the talking. The fastest way to make an enemy useful is to make them predictable and make yourself reliable. Their inconsistency sells your steadiness. Here's the ethical frame, because we don't romanticize cruelty here. Read it as a design rule, not a call to savagery. If you must confront, don't peck forever. Make one clean decision, then stop. 1,000 tiny cuts create permanent war. A single decisive move creates a future. Using enemies doesn't mean feeding conflict. It means ending the kind that drains you and keeping the friction that sharpens you. 3 mini plays to convert heat into help immediately. Signal play. Identify the trigger that makes your enemy overreact. Deadlines, data, authority, humor. Then place your best work at that trigger. If they hate your deadlines, you deliver early, every time. The louder they complain, the more leadership notices your consistency. Enemy becomes spotlight. Civ play. Announce one high standard publicly. Start on time, no recap. Decisions in writing, no last-minute weekends. Then watch who pouts and who adapts. Your enemy will do your recruiting for you by self-selecting out. You stop dragging passengers. Your circle gets lighter and faster. School play. Choose one thing your opponent does better. Deck design, headlines, quick rapport, and steal it ethically. Study, copy the structure, build your version. Enemies provide a free curriculum if your ego is quiet enough to learn. Expect a spike when you stop being edible. The first week you enforce venue and price, your rival will get louder. They will try to drag you into the street. Refuse the theater. Courts reconvene, they don't brawl in hallways. You'll be tempted to set the record straight with paragraphs. Don't. Show nouns and verbs, not adjectives. Receipts, timelines, decisions. The room learns from what it sees, not what it hears. And that's Machiavelli's other warning, relevant forever. People judge by appearances. Make the appearance unflappable. In theory, in reality, anyone visible, decisive, and scarce creates friction. The goal isn't no enemies, it's useful enemies. Opponents who reveal your blind spots, advertise your standards, and inspire stronger allies. Enemies who waste your energy are poorly designed. Enemies who pay you in clarity are assets. Your 24-hour mission: write one utility map for a live opponent. Motive, method, mistake. Instrument them with one boring summary after your next interaction. Funnel the fight into one venue. Loop it in the thread. Price the next breach exactly where it lives. No recap, deposit next time, weekday slot. Then step back and watch. If the noise gets louder, good. You're pulling oxygen from their favorite alley. If the room gets quieter, better. Your structure is doing the speaking. This is not about becoming cruel. It's about becoming consequential. You won't seek enemies, you won't fear them, and you certainly won't feed them. You'll make them useful. Fox to read the board. Lion to set the price. Human enough to keep your core clean. Where we build the Opponent Flywheel. How to turn one rival's attack into 5 compounding advantages. and how to recruit former enemies into disciplined allies without losing frame. Comment your pledge. I will convert opposition into advantage. This isn't self-help. This is statecraft applied to your life. Freeze. One clean breath. Your rival is moving right now, texting a rumor, pushing a shortcut that hurts your work, smiling in the meeting while angling the knife. Most people panic, defend, or disappear. That's not power. Power is colder. You don't run from the enemy, you rout them. You turn their pressure into proof, their noise into spotlight, their appetite into your leverage. Today, you'll build the engine that converts every attack into gain, calmly, repeatedly, without becoming a villain and without bleeding your peace. Lock your stance before we move. Say it once, then do it. Start with a correction that will save you years. Enemies are not a sign that you're failing. Enemies are the invoice for visibility. The only people without enemies are the ones no one notices. So the goal isn't to have none, it's to design the ones you have and extract value from the friction. You don't need to like them, you need to use them. Here's the Opponent Flywheel. 4 moves that turn hostility into a loop of compounding returns. Move 1. Instrument. When an enemy touches your lane, you don't send paragraphs, you send paper. After every important interaction, you drop a boring, surgical recap. Decisions, owners, dates. This is not petty, this is surveillance. Loud enemies hate paper, their game is fog. Your receipts are sunlight. You're not arguing with adjectives, you're archiving nouns and verbs. And when they escalate to drama, your file becomes a mirror they cannot outrun. Move 2. Funnel. Conflict is allowed, but only in the arena you choose. Agenda, scope doc, deadline thread, that's it. If they jab in public, you don't duel for laughs. You say, keep it respectful, then return to the item. If they moralize, a good teammate would, you don't step into the confessional. If they side channel, you don't chase. You aren't avoiding the fight, you're containerizing it where truth is measurable. Predators thrive in alleys. You meet them on the record. Move 3. Price. Touching you is no longer free. You put cost where the disrespect lives. Interruptions? Chronic lateness? You start on time and do no recap. Last-minute cancels? The next slot is weekday coffee, not Saturday prime, or there's a deposit. Scope nibbling? Rate stays, scope shrinks. Your rival just became an unpaid fundraiser for your standards. Every test finances the policy that stops them next round. Move 4. Pivot. Their pressure becomes your promotion. When they whisper you're difficult, you pivot to the clients who actually want outcomes, not discounts. When they mock your structure, you pivot to leadership with clean dashboards that show throughput, not feelings. When they post noise, you pivot to results you can screenshot. The enemy becomes your marketing team accidentally. Translation: do not feed rivals the rope they'll use tomorrow. Don't hand out your playbook. Above the drama is how careful men lose their kingdoms. Guard your leverage. Share less. Insist on symmetry. Peace bought with avoidance is a lease signed with interest. Machiavelli again, colder, clearer. A blunder must never be committed to avoid a fight you cannot truly avoid. War only gets deferred to your disadvantage. So you don't delay the boundary. You deliver it low and early, without theatrics, while the stakes are still small. Early fences save late wars. Let's run the flywheel in rooms you actually live in. Work. A rival drops a harmless joke about your competence in front of leadership. Old you, banter, stew, DM apologies. New you, 5 beats of silence, make the room feel the wrong. Then, back to item 3. After the meeting, a flat recap in the thread. Decisions, owners, date. No adjectives. Now watch. The people who like gossip will pout. The people who like outcomes will relax. That's your side forming in real time, without you campaigning. Negotiation. A competitor has been telling prospects you're inflexible, angling for a price cut. New you uses their whisper as free positioning. We maintain rate. If they threaten to walk, you don't chase. When brittle buyers bounce, robust ones appear. The rumor they spread becomes the filter that sends the right work to your door. Social. An ex-friend keeps baiting you in group chats. Vague shots, nostalgia traps, invitations loaded with hidden costs. Old you types essays. New you goes quiet and consistent. You post progress, not clout. Keep plans and refuse side channels. When mutuals ask, you use 9 words. We weren't a fit. The enemy's theater shrivels when the star refuses to show. Romance. A rival courts the person you're dating with drama. Grand gestures, strategic chaos, little digs about you. Old you performs to compete. New you enforces pace and keeps promises. You arrive when you say you will, you plan 2 weeks ahead, you don't play midnight roulette. Predictability beats spectacle over time. Your steadiness makes their games look loud, not exciting. It's stop leaking. Stop feeding dynamics that drain your life and brand. Put your energy on rails. Let opponents self-select out. Let your record speak. You can be merciful without being a mat. You can be fair without being edible. 3 mini-plays to bolt the flywheel into your week by tomorrow. Signal play. Identify the trigger that makes your rival sloppy. Deadline pressure, documented proof, direct questions. Put your best work at that trigger. Deliver early. Ask for summary docs. State decisions aloud. Their discomfort becomes your halo. Civ play. Announce one hard standard in public. Start on time, no recap. No weekend rush unless scheduled by Thursday. Decisions captured in writing. The pouty will expose themselves. The serious will lean in. Your circle shrinks and sharpens. That's good. Small, aligned teams beat large, messy ones. School play. Pick one thing they actually do well. Slick decks, punchy hooks, rapid relationship building. Study it. Recreate the structure ethically. Build your version with cleaner motives. Enemies are free teachers if your ego can shut up long enough to learn. Expect the spike. When you stop being edible, the noise gets louder. For a minute. They'll try to drag you into the street fight. You won't go. You will be the courthouse. Still, documented, decisive. If they smear, you don't spray explanations. You show receipts, dates, deliverables, approvals. Rooms learn from what they see, not what you feel. That's how your reputation stops being a story and becomes a file. You'll feel the solitude of discipline. The first weekend you don't chase drama, the quiet will feel like loss. It's not. It's the field clearing before better allies arrive. Don't refill the calendar with the same chaos, because boredom nibbles at your nerves. Use the space for compound interest, health, skill, capital, deep relationships that don't need spectacle to survive. 2 stainless sentences for the next 7 days. Say them exactly. That doesn't work for me. The first protects your scope. The second protects your venue. Together, they convert enemies from energy thieves into productivity fuel. Binary choice. You can stay nice, keep feeding the wrong mouths, and keep wondering why respect never piles up. Or you can become useful to yourself, turning every push against you into forward motion. The paradox is real. When you stop fearing enemies, you stop manufacturing them. You don't need to crush everyone. You just need to be designed so poorly aligned people can't afford to stay. If this gave you a spine you can feel, like the video. Next, we'll take the biggest swing: how to recruit former enemies into disciplined allies without losing frame, and how to end a feud with one decisive move when peace is profitable. Stop. One breath. Imagine this. The loudest critic in your orbit becomes the reason you win the room. The rival who once tried to undercut you ends up carrying your banner. Not because you made peace, but because you designed the peace. You didn't delete an enemy, you converted the energy. Today is that pivot. Not theory, mechanics. You'll get a clean process to turn opposition into structured advantage without losing frame, without bleeding self-respect, and without mistaking mercy for weakness. Lock it in. Type this in the comments. I will recruit power, not please people. First, a hard reset. The well. You observe and design. A former enemy can become an excellent ally if and only if three things are true. 1. Your incentives now align. 2. Their behavior can be made predictable. And 3. The relationship sits inside guardrails that you control. No guardrails, no alliance. That's not cold, that's survival. People remember pain long after they've spent your gifts. So you don't buy loyalty, you bind it with structure and visible stakes. Here's the conversion engine. 4 gates. No speeches, no sentiment, just gravity. Gate 1, alignment. You write the one-line definition of the shared target. If you can't define a measurable win that both sides need, you're not recruiting an ally. You're sponsoring a rehabilitation project. Projects drain. Allies perform. Gate 2, proof, not promises. Patterns. You require 2 boring proofs in a row. On time, as scoped, minus drama. If they deliver once and ask for trust, smile and repeat the requirement. Real change doesn't beg, it repeats. Gate 3, price. You set a standing cost for any breach right where it lives. Late equals no recap. Scope creep equals rate stays, scope shrinks. Pick what comes out. Public jab equals keep it respectful, then reduced access for 2 weeks. Costs must be automatic, not emotional. Think traffic camera, not temper. Gate 4, visibility. You move the alliance onto rails where everything is seeable. Written agendas, weekly artifacts, decisions captured in the thread. Paper is mercy for the honest and a trap for the messy. Let the record do the policing you used to do with lectures. Run it in rooms you actually live in. Work. Old you thinks a heart-to-heart will fix history. New you drafts a 1-page working agreement, scope, cadence, decision rights, breach costs, escalation path. Then you send the meeting notes after every call. Decisions, owners, dates. In 3 weeks, you'll know if you have an ally. If they keep trying to move things off record, you don't fight. You end the arrangement and cite the paper. Clean hands, clean exit. Business. A competitor lost a client and wants to partner on your bigger account. Old you hears flattery. New you hears leverage. You create a clean box. They deliver one module you can verify in isolation. You keep the client relationship. Shared goal, repeatable proof, breach price, fee reduction plus removal next sprint, total visibility. Your repo, your PM. If they're serious, they'll trade control for access. If they're not, they wanted your table, not your trust. Social. A former friend wants back in after dragging your name. You don't do therapy by text, you do gates. I wish you well. If you want to try a reset, here's how it looks. Monthly coffee, no group chats for 60 days, no third-party autopsies of the past. You're not punishing, you're protecting the better future you're building. Romance. Old you negotiates feelings until dawn. New you measures behavior at noon. 2 planned dates this month, set 72 hours in advance. Clear confirmations. Want to test sincerity? Require boring consistency. Want to break your own heart? Trust a paragraph. 2 levers will keep this clean and powerful. Lever A, roles. Your circle is your signal. If you bring a former enemy into your tent, you must define their lane so clearly that outsiders can see the order without a speech. In practice, a public org chart for the project, visible owners on tasks, and a standing rule, questions route through roles, not vibes. This protects you from the optics trap. When people can't see structure, they assume chaos. When they see clean roles, they assume competence, and they're right. Lever B, pace. Benefits travel slow. Boundaries travel instantly. When you decide to end a feud, don't dribble access back like a leaky faucet. Set one decisive standard and then let benefits accrue gradually through results. Your calm patience forces the other side to choose work over theater. Great filter. Now the part most people avoid, amnesty with teeth. There are moments when it's profitable to end the fight entirely. Not because you've been guilted, because the war costs more than the boundary earns. Here's the three-step close. Acknowledge a narrow truth, never a sweeping narrative. Name the forward container. All decisions in writing, weekly checkpoint. Offer a small, visible benefit first. Then stop. If they reciprocate with structure, you proceed. If they respond with appetite and zero architecture, you don't argue, you exit. Expect backlash from spectators who feed on conflict. They're right. You're no longer edible. That's not arrogance, that's adulthood. Drills for the next 7 days to weld this into your hands. Drill 1. Write a re-entry template now. If you want to try again, here's how it looks. Shared goal, 2 proofs, breach price, visibility. Save it. When the moment comes, you won't improvise your life. Drill 2. Convert one critic into a tested contributor. Give them a tiny, high-signal task with a clear deadline in your system. If they deliver, expand one notch. No moral essays. People either respect Rails or they don't. Drill 3. Replace a paragraph with a policy. Every time you feel the urge to explain history, degrade it into a rule. That doesn't work for me. Policies are how grown-ups love themselves. You'll notice something eerie once this is live. The temperature around you drops. People who used to bait you stop trying. The ones who stay become sharper, kinder, faster. Not because everyone got therapy, but because your rails make good behavior the shortest path. And the ex-enemy who passes your gates? Don't be petty. Reward reliability. Public credit on the work. Resource access that speeds results. Not as a bribe, as a signal. In your world, standards are not weapons, they're invitations for the right people to win. One final guardrail for your own mind. Never rewrite history to maintain harmony. If you whitewash the past, your nervous system will rebel and sabotage the present. Keep the ledger accurate and the heart generous. Clear memory, clean policy, forward motion. That's the mix. Binary choice. You can keep wasting years trying to convince the wrong people you're harmless, or you can start collecting useful people, including a few former enemies who finally choose order over appetite. This isn't therapy. This is statecraft applied to your calendar. Where we close the loop, how to neutralize a feud in one move when peace is profitable, and how to use reputation architecture so enemies advertise your standards for you, free. Drop your pledge. I will recruit power, not please people. Freeze. One breath. What if you could end a feud in one move and make the person who tried to hurt you start advertising your standards for free? Not by begging, not by posting essays, not by being the bigger person, but by building a visible system that makes cooperation the cheapest option and opposition too expensive to fund. That's the paradox. When you engineer your reputation, enemies become broadcasters. They either align and help you win, or they glare from the sidelines while your structure does the talking. Lock it in. Comment this to set the tone. I don't chase peace, I design it. Start with the physics of perception. Rooms don't read your intentions, they read your architecture. You can be brilliant in private and still get outmaneuvered by someone with cleaner optics. So you stop performing goodness and start engineering appearances that are true, repeatable, and hard to fake. Not filters, fixtures, calendars that run on rails, decisions captured aloud, dashboards that show throughput, policies written once and enforced without heat. Your character needs a stage. Build it. Here's the one-move truce for when peace is profitable. Call it the close. Not a conversation, a container. Step 1. Narrow truth, never confession. We let side channels grow. You don't relitigate history. You name the friction you will no longer finance. Step 2. Future architecture. All decisions in writing. Weekly checkpoint, 15 minutes. Scope changes come with equal swaps. Short, measurable, boring. Step 3. Public handshake. You post the new rules where stakeholders can see them. Team channel, recap email, project doc. You don't sell it, you show it. Then you go still. No victory laps, no shade. Courts reconvene, they don't brawl in hallways. Why it works? You removed the oxygen, ambiguity, and installed gravity, structure. Your rival can either breathe better air or walk into a vacuum. Either way, the feud stops billing your nervous system. Now build reputation architecture so enemies become your marketing department by accident. 4 visible signals make it automatic. Signal 1. The opening minute. Start on time, every time. No recap for latecomers. You'll be called rigid for 2 weeks, then you'll be called reliable forever. Late rivals suddenly look unserious next to your clock. Signal 2. One-sentence decisions. Say it out loud. Type it once. Audiences learn by fences, not feelings. Signal 3. The window. When pressure arrives, you don't sprint, you point to the window. People who respect you will prepare. People who used you will pout. Both outcomes serve you. Signal 4. Receipts, not rhetoric. Your follow-ups contain nouns and verbs, dates, deliverables, approvals. No adjectives. When opponents escalate to drama, your file becomes a mirror. Rooms trust mirrors. Good, not terror. Consequences. Translate it for modern rooms, it's safer to be respected than adored, when you can't have both. If your standard is clear and fair, your fear is just predictability. People don't fear you, they fear the cost of being sloppy in your system. That's not cruelty, that's adult life. What about smear? You don't swing at smoke. You deploy silence marketing. You never defend intent, you demonstrate pattern. You never chase side channels, you consolidate to the thread. You never write paragraphs, you attach proof. When asked, you use 9 words that end gossip without feeding it. We weren't a fit. You're not performing grace, you're underwriting it with evidence. Let's run it where you live. Work. A rival has been joking about your competence in front of leadership. Old you bantered back and stewed later. You finish the item and close with a one-sentence decision. After the meeting, your recap hits the thread with owners and dates. 2 things happen at once. The room relaxes because someone is steering, and your critic looks loud next to your bones. That's reputation architecture doing PR while you focus on outcomes. Negotiation. A prospect says, another vendor said you're inflexible. Old you explained value, then compromised to seem cooperative. If they want cheap, they self-select out. If they want delivered, they self-select in. Your enemy just pre-qualified your clients. Social. An ex-friend posts passive shots. Old you typed a novel. New you posts progress, not clout, keeps promises in public, and refuses side channels. Mutuals ask what happened. You use the 9 words. The feed gets bored. Your outputs stay loud. Romance. A rival circles your person with spectacle and chaos. Old you competed with bigger gestures. New you makes reliability look like leadership. Plans 2 weeks out, confirmations 24 hours before, exits on time. Calm chemistry ages better than fireworks. Standards aren't ice, they're oxygen. Two conversion plays turn opponents into inadvertent allies. Play A, the spotlight trap. Choose one metric you can ship reliably: on-time deliverables, response SLA, error rate. Publish it weekly. Invite cross-checks. Your rival can either help you hit it, ally, or keep mocking while you stack receipts, advertiser. Either way, the scoreboard becomes the story. Play B, the single gate. No exceptions, no private passes. People with appetite but no architecture will disqualify themselves. People with discipline will cross the line and improve your outcomes. You didn't heal anything, you upgraded the filter. Yes, it will get louder for a moment. When you stop feeding chaos, chaos thrashes. Don't blink. Deliver 3 quiet weeks of perfect basics, on time, as scoped, no side arguments. That sequence is a sermon people can feel. Remember the rule of optics: repetition beats argument. Your architecture is the argument. Now, the one-move neutralizer for stubborn feuds when peace pays more than war. Use this script verbatim. Let's end the drift. From today, decisions captured in writing, weekly 15-minute checkpoint, no side channels, scope swaps for scope adds, breach pauses the sprint. Then withdraw. If they negotiate the rules, they don't want peace, they want your old price. If they agree and perform twice in a row, reward with better access, slowly. Benefits should trickle, boundaries should snap. That cadence teaches adults. You also need optics armor, so haters market you while thinking they're hurting you. Public org chart for the work. Clear owners, clear lanes. People judge your leadership by the quality of the people around you. Recruit competence, publish it. Enemies calling you controlling will highlight the contrast when your team hums. Social proof that isn't bragging. Numbers, not noise. Critics will try to paint you as arrogant. Metrics don't blush. Non-negotiables card. One image or pinned post with 3 rules. On time, in writing. Share it once. Refer to it forever. Enemies hate fences. Audiences love clarity. Case files, not case fights. Before-after screenshots, redacted where needed. You aren't arguing, your work is. Drills for the next 48 hours. Drill 1. Write your close and schedule it. 1 paragraph, narrow truth, architecture, public handshake. Deliver it where it counts. Then go still. Drill 2. Install 1 signal, opening minute, 1-sentence decisions, window, receipts. Make it visible. Hold it for 3 weeks without commentary. Drill 3. Launch 1 spotlight trap metric and publish it each Friday. Invite verification. When critics nip, thank them for the attention and post the next score. Gravity, not debate, moves minds. A final anchor so you don't confuse spine with spite. The point isn't to humiliate opponents, it's to stop financing the parts of you that turn into prey. You can be generous after you are consistent. You can be warm after you are clear. Machiavelli didn't say abandon virtue. He said, don't let virtue be a costume others use to pick your pocket. Respect arrives when your boundaries cost less to follow than to fight. Binary choice. You can keep trying to win hearts in rooms that only understand costs, or you can build an architecture that makes respect the cheapest decision in the building. Stop asking people to believe you. Make it easier to trust your system than to test it. If this series gave you a spine you can feel, like the video, subscribe and hit the bell. Then comment your pledge. I don't chase peace, I design it. This isn't self-help. This is statecraft. Use it clean.